Guys, we have some ebooks and e-courses you can learn French with, but first,
make sure you try our free e-course at StreetFrench.org.
Hi guys, salut tout le
Salut.
monde. I'm Maya and I'm French.
I'm Charlie and I'm American.
And today we're going to talk about how to understand spoken French.
So people ask us this all the time on Instagram. And I know there's some videos like other French channels, they talk about this, but I wanted to give my opinion on it because I learned French as an adult and kind of explain like what it was like for me. So first, I just want to say that this is the most important thing, in my opinion, this is the most important thing when speaking a language, when like, if you can understand what someone's saying, like generally, and you can respond simply, well, you're having like a very, a basic conversation. And then from there, it's easier to get better, in my opinion. It really makes the language come alive when at least I can understand what this person's saying. He can kind of understand me. And if not, I'm just like reading a book and it's, no one understands anyone. It's just boring. Like for me, that's always what I shoot for when I learn a language. It's like just getting that basic conversation down. Okay, so for me, the point when I realized that I could understand French really well was when I was studying at the Sorbonne. And I would hear French all day, every day for like a year. And then after that year, that's when I realized like, oh, I can understand really well.
But when you came to the Sorbonne, you've been already learning French for a couple of years before that.
Yeah, I think that's like 6 years in.
Yeah.
That was the point when I realized I just don't struggle anymore with comprehension. So yeah, like I said, I had already been studying French and speaking French for like 6 years before I started studying at that school. So I would say like the first 2 years, I was just taking classes at a university. I did like 4 semesters of French. So yeah, that was like 2 years. And I really couldn't speak that well. I couldn't really understand that well, even after studying at school for like 2 years.
Did you know people who you just spoke French in class, right?
Yeah.
At that time?
Yeah, I think I had a French pen pal at that time too.
Okay.
But yeah, I would say that I wasn't that great. What really brought my French to the next level was going to a French meetup every week for like 2 years. And that's what, I would meet people. They weren't French. They were learning French. They learned it as a second language, but they were better than me. And they taught me how to converse. And just hanging out with them during the week. And I would see them on the weekends. Like we would just see each other all the time and just walk around town speaking loud French everywhere. And that's what really brought my French to the next level.
And so were you taking classes while going to meetups or just
No,
going to
not
meetups?
really. No, I was pretty much just going to meetups.
That's cool. Okay.
Because I took all the French classes I could at the community college that I was at.
Okay. And you feel like you could have like conversations?
Yeah. It was hard at first, but then they taught me how to converse because we did it so much.
Yeah.
And then, then I came to Paris after doing that for like 2 years.
So yeah, when we met, remember you spoke really well. We only spoke French. I don't know. I mean, you definitely improved.
Yeah.
But I think, I feel like we could have conversations, like we didn't feel weird.
Yeah, we could have conversations, but maybe sometimes I would get tripped up like a little bit. So that was 4 years in. Like sometimes I would go into a store, maybe I wouldn't understand like something or whatever. Then I went back to LA for like 2 years and then we would just still talk. And then I think just talking to you during those 2 years helped me a lot. So then when I started at the Sorbonne, I started at the Sorbonne when I was 26.
So 6 years in?
Yeah, so that was 6 years in, yeah.
Okay.
And then after that year, so I guess I'll make it like almost 7 years basically. That's when I realized like, okay, I can understand really well.
Yeah.
But
it's a long time.
But yeah, that's just to kind of give you an idea of how much I had to practice to get to where I am. Someone sent us a message saying that they had been speaking for like 5 months and they don't understand why they can't speak French or they can't understand spoken French.
Yeah, it takes a bit longer than that. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. It's like me saying like, oh, I've been working out for 5 months. Why aren't I ripped like Arnold Schwarzenegger or something? It's just a lot of practice and a lot of time. But yeah, so it's a lot of practice and it's consistency. Like I would speak French every week. Like I would go out and like hang out with people in French. I would have a French pen pal that I would talk to almost every day. And after I had you, that I would talk to you almost every day, either by text messages or like on the phone or whatever.
Yeah, you were definitely going out of your comfort zone and trying to meet people because you didn't have like you didn't know anyone who spoke French really.
Yeah.
I think just one person a little bit, but
But now it's so much easier. I mean, you can find people on the internet. So it was like I was doing the academic side at school, but I also went way out of my way to try and use what I learned in the classroom in real life. So some things that I like to keep in mind is that you can just focus on keywords. Like a lot of times when someone's speaking, you don't have to get every little thing that they're trying to say, like every little word. It's more like the global, like the general sense of what they're saying.
Because there's some expression or syntax that's gonna be like kind of tricky or some things that you don't know, and it's fine. You can learn them like as you go along.
Yeah.
But like if you know the words, that helps.
Yeah. So you can take like the general idea of what he's saying to figure out like a word if you don't know what it is. Yeah, I think that some of my private students, they focus way too much on trying to understand like every single word, and it just stresses them out. When you're like actually in the conversation with someone, I think it's a lot easier to understand what's being said. Whereas like when you watch a film or when you like hear someone else speaking like a podcast, sometimes it's, you know, because you're not in the conversation, sometimes I find it, for me, it's a little bit more difficult to understand what they're saying. I would look for podcasts or YouTubers or people who kind of speak French like more naturally, not like like a newscaster, someone like on the news or something.
Yeah.
Again, it depends on your goal. If your goal is to speak conversational French with like, you know, just normal like average people in the streets in France, you want to get used to hearing people improvise in the language. And it's like when you watch a film, I mean, it's scripted. It's like sometimes they speak like this, like, you know, to get that dramatic effect. And it's I find it more difficult to understand someone like in a film a lot of times. Whereas if you watch a YouTuber, someone who's like improvising in the language, I think it's easier. It can be easier.
But it's also more useful because it's what you are trying to learn. You're trying to learn how to speak like a normal person and not like scripted.
Yeah,
so
definitely.
Not even it's easier. It's like just like that's how you need to learn. That's how you need to speak.
Yeah, definitely. So yeah, I mean that's why I really like watching vlogs on YouTube. A lot of YouTube channels, they'll even have the subtitles written out in French.
Some of them,
yeah. So we'll leave links to those kinds of channels down below in the description. But yeah, I mean, then you're just like connecting like the written with the way it sounds. And if you're trying to work on comprehension, music is probably not the best way to do it. I mean, it can help, but the way people sing is just like often completely different from how they speak. And yeah, so it's not really going to help you as much as you might think. So yeah, and I mean, we talk about it quite often. We tell people to look for either YouTubers or podcasts based on your interests, because it's something that you're into already, something that you know a little bit about. Like maybe you could watch makeup tutorials on YouTube, or you can listen to a football podcast if that's what you're into.
Yeah.
If you like fashion, you could find podcasts on that, or YouTubers who talk about that. Food, travel, whatever you want.
And to come back to understanding someone who speaks French, also don't feel like defeated or like not motivated anymore when you don't understand one person, because everyone has a different type of pronunciation, a different accent depending on where they come from. They come from France, from somewhere in Quebec, if they come from different regions in France. And it's funny, even in how old they are too. It's funny, you were telling me that when you met my grandpa, who's French, the way he speaks is a little bit different, and the intonations and the words he uses.
Yeah. Sometimes I have a hard time understanding your grandpa.
Yeah, so like, don't feel defeated. Like every person has a different way of speaking, and you might not understand everyone the same way or as well. Like you understand French like no problem, but you have a little bit of trouble with my grandpa because
I feel like he doesn't articulate so
probably
much sometimes.
yeah. So just a little reminder, like don't worry about that.
And so the last tip is just to be patient and just know that it takes a lot of time and consistent effort. My French phonetics teacher, she was saying like your ear has to like open up to like French or whatever, like you get used to hearing it. I guess that's something that we can end on, is that like whenever I was learning French, it was never like a chore, it was just something that I loved.
Yeah.
and I had no problem putting in all that time. It was like never even a thought. I was just, I don't know, it was my hobby and I just really enjoyed it.
Yeah, you weren't putting any pressure on yourself, like, oh, I
Yeah.
have to learn it by
Yeah.
this time. I don't know.
Yeah, no, definitely. I think sometimes I work with people and they're like, they put too much pressure on themselves. And I mean, of course, it's because like they live in France now, and so they gotta learn.
Some of them, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, like they gotta learn for their job, and then it just stresses them out. But it's like for me, I just always take like this playful kind of attitude to it.
But yeah, I guess that's a good spot to end the video, right?
Mm,
A good positive note like that.
yeah, definitely.
But yeah, if you have any other questions or if you have any other tips, things that help you understand spoken French, feel free to write that in the comments below. And yeah, if you like those lessons and if you like the things we talk about and things we teach, we have ebooks and e-courses on our website, StreetFrench.org. We're also super present on Instagram. We're always posting every day, and we're posting a lot of that content we talked about, and we're
Yeah.
gonna put the links in the description box.
Mm-hmm.
We share all that content on Instagram every day, like in our stories. So feel free to follow us over there. And yeah, and of course we do have a Patreon page if you feel like you want to support the project.
Yeah.
But if you don't, it's fine. Like just you watching this video and all of our YouTube videos is already amazing.
Yeah. Thank you.
But yeah,
Thanks for watching.
thank you so much. And thank you of course to our Patreons who are already helping us.
Yeah, it's really nice of you guys. Thank you.
Yeah. But yeah, I think that's it. Okay.
Okay.
So thank you so much for watching and see you next time.
Salut.
Bye bye. Salut.